Good afternoon, everyone. It's Penny and Amanda with FCSS, back for tip number 5 in our top 10 tips for parents of teens from Triple P. So today we're going to talk about learning a new language, which, doesn't necessarily mean BTWs and LOLs, although that doesn't hurt either to learn that language because,
it's their world.
It is their world, and it's kind of fun actually to engage in that and look at the eye rolls and the kind of, they pretend like you're so lame, but you can tell that you're kind of a little bit glad that you show a little bit of understanding for that world of theirs, even though I usually get it wrong. But so what we're talking about here in learning a new language is making the shift from thinking about your child as a child to thinking about them more like a growing adult. So try speaking to them in the way you might speak to other grown-ups in your life, which doesn't necessarily mean you're going to treat them as an adult in all aspects, but talking to them like they're a growing person, that their opinions are valuable, their thoughts are valuable. Checking in with them if you've always used a nickname, right? Sometimes kids love the nicknames, sometimes they outgrow them. So one way you can offer them a little bit of respect is to say, we've always called you Jelly Bean. Is that something you want us to keep doing, or would you rather we just called you by your name? Chat with them. Learn what their world looks like and what their interests are and what their perspective is on things. You can share ideas and offer them choices. And the more you talk with them that way, and that sort of like you're having coffee together, or the more you can learn about them, the easier it is for you to sort of make choices around discipline and lifestyle that are going to be less conflicted, right? Because you can, you gain a perspective, sort of where they're coming from. And we can always work better together when we know where someone else is coming from, right? They feel valued, they feel respected, they're more likely to cooperate, and you're more likely to be able to hit the mark when it comes to compromise, when you understand their perspective, right? So showing interest in the things that they're interested in. So they happen to enjoy YouTube videos on comparing kitchen gadgets. Join in. You don't have to fake that you like it. Talk to them about it. So what do you like about that? And just try to look at it from their perspective. Not everything has to be a teachable moment. So even though sometimes YouTube offers some beautiful teachable moments, sometimes you can just be there with them. And it's just the being with them that conveys that they're okay just as they are. So they like these videos, great, we can be together. Using your meal times or your car rides, those are great times to have talks, and just random topics. Like a really good example is a key jar at the supper table. If you're a family that happens to eat a meal together, you can have a key jar or a quote jar. I used to have a quote jar, and every time I came across a really cool quote, I'd write it down and put it in the jar, and then at supper time we'd pull one out and I'd read the quote and I'd say, okay, what does that mean to you? Or there's key jars with specific questions you could ask, like if you could have any job in the world, what job would you pick and why would you pick that job? So it doesn't have to be super personal stuff, but it just gets conversation going. So I think just learn a new language means learn how to converse with your growing child as more of an equal than a teacher pupil. That's how I view it anyways. Amanda?
Yeah, no, you explained that wonderfully. So maintaining those conversations, keeping those conversations going, right? Like your teen shows you something or talks about something they're really interested in, instead of right away being like, no, like that's ridiculous, or why do you waste so much time on this or that, right? That new language could be like, what on earth is that, right? Or like bring some humor into things, lessen the load a little bit. Like Penny said, not every moment has to be a teachable moment, and as parents we need to have fun with our kids too and understand as much as we can where they're coming from. And I think Triple P really talks to that in, you know, setting things up for hope, for success, as opposed to that teacher pupil, or right, the different balances of power within the house. The kids are getting older, their interests are changing, right? Christmas is one of those good times too. We just passed Christmas, and you know, it's one of those things where you can be like, okay, what do you want? And it's not necessarily, you know, that you're going to get everything, but let's have a conversation about what you like this year, right? What kinds of things are you expecting? And these learning a new language is a lot less structured than anything else, really, right? We're just living the teenage life and remembering. One tip that I learned, again, I wish I could remember where I get these tips from, but with boys, but I also know a lot now, especially with girls as well, sitting in that car, like Penny mentioned, and those side-by-side chats, so that you're not actually, or they're not having to look at you into your eyes, is a lot less intimidating, and a lot more things will pop up. And then if you get a whole car full of friends, watch out, you're gonna have a whole new vocab, and things to look up for sure. So yeah, that's great.
All right, well, that was tip number 5, learn a new language. So thank you for joining us. www.fcss.ca is our website if you would like more information about the supports that are available in your community. Visit the website, and got lots of great info on there. And we will be back next Tuesday at 1 for tip number 6. So thanks for joining us, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye.